So this is the castle at Hirosaki. It's only a little one, but it's important because it's one of the 12 castles in Japan which are still the original. Most castles, most of the Japanese castles, have either been destroyed in earthquakes or burnt down in fires or goodness knows what. This one was built in the 1600s. It was also destroyed, I think, by fire, only, 18, 19 years after it was built. And then in the early 1800s, it was rebuilt, but in the old style. And because it's 200 years old and rebuilt in the old style, it's considered one of the original castles. Like I said, there are only about 12 left in all of Japan. Very steep stairs. My goodness me. I'm going to go up there. Whoa. There are arrow slits for shooting arrows out. And there are holes in the protruding floor for dropping stones and rocks onto the invading enemies. The model shows how the castle grounds were originally. You can see the castle's over there in the far corner. What's really interesting is the authorities have decided the wall needs to be rebuilt underneath. They've picked the castle up and moved it, and they're rebuilding the wall, and when that's finished, they'll put the castle back where it came from. This is apple country. Harvest hasn't started yet, but you can see some of them are starting to get that lovely red blush on them. And here we have a paper bag tree. I saw plastic bag trees in Taiwan, but these seem to be paper bag trees in amongst the apples. Interesting. So here's a shot of my Garmin. It's 12 minutes past 12. I have ridden 29 and a bit kilometres. I've climbed 265 metres, which has been very slow and steady, so I've ridden everything except for the last 50 metres. And I haven't got the temperature showing here, but at some stage I'll get that up. Because on the roadsides, there were two signs for temperature. One said 30 degrees, the other said 32. So I'm quite hot, and I think it's time for a lunch break. And in good Japanese style, I've discovered there is a roadside stop just 300 metres ahead. The icon in the upper left-hand corner indicates that it's a roadside stop, a touristy one, and it has parking, it has toilets, wheelchair facilities, a telephone, a restaurant and information centre. And the icon on the bottom left is of a hot spring, so you can even bathe there if you want. This is what I usually have for lunch. I have an onigiri, which is rice with tuna, and sometimes has salmon or other things inside. I go for the tuna ones or the salmon ones. And I have a sandwich because I like to have things that remind me of home. It's such a busy road, it's really difficult to film anything without cars in the background. But I also have a big bottle of water, and I drink as much of that as I can because I sweat so much in these hot days. So I left Hirosaki yesterday morning, spent all morning yesterday climbing up. By lunchtime I'd reached the top, and spent most of yesterday afternoon following a slight little stream downstream, and that stream has now joined this river. As you can see, it's really quite beautiful. I'm on a little side road, carrying a bit of traffic but not too much. No trucks, of course, which is good. There are lots of butterflies, and there's even a little tunnel coming up. You can see it just over there. Japan, being such a mountainous country, has a lot of trails that go up and down steep hills and mountains. For people like me who are just that little bit lazier, it's a good idea to follow rivers or railway lines. Rivers and railway lines both tend to take a flat course as much as possible, until of course you get into the hills where trains go through tunnels and rivers go down waterfalls. Anyway, I'm following this river for most of the day until I hit the hills, the big hills. We'll see what it's like then. And here, this is the outskirts of Akita. This is what the rear side of many houses look like. 6:30 in the morning. Some people are already out and about. That chap there just walked past me as I was recording. Makes me feel a bit of a twit, but that's okay. Of course, things are never as simple as they seem. We've closed it off. Obviously there's some works happening up there. We've given it a detour. But do I want to do this detour? Can't I go along the riverbank? I don't know. I initially thought the detour was about grass cutting because the grass cutters are out in force. But then I saw there's a building site over there. Lots of dirt's being moved around. And big sign, obviously making some sort of weir with maybe hydro or something. Don't know. Something's happening. And aren't these cute? Everywhere I go, the road blockages have all these cute little I don't know what you call them, things holding up pipes, and they're all different depending on where you are. Like along the sea, there were ones that were in the shape of fish, I think. And there's in the countryside, there were ones in the shape of cows, and here we've got green cross wearing pandas by the looks of it. I want to show this, something you see often in Japan. The town cemetery is very, very, very close to where people live and work, set in amidst the paddy fields, just behind the houses. I've often seen some actually in town itself, so it's really easy for somebody to go and have a chat to Granny on the way to the bus stop. But now I decided, when I saw this park, it might be a good idea to dry all my stuff, because I'm almost at my accommodation and it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so, you know. So there's some of my stuff drying. I'd like to say in the sun, but there's no sun. It's very overcast, but it's still quite warm and quite humid. And there's more of my stuff drying. The tent dries quite quickly, the tent itself and the base, but the fly takes forever to dry. Hanging over the top of my flagpole is my tent bag. I feel it's reasonably safe to put it there because I'll have to actually pack the tent in it before I go. The last time I hung something on my tent pole, it was a small towel, hand towel size, which I used after being in an onsen or so because we only need a small towel. And I hung it over the flagpole to dry one morning and then rode off completely oblivious to the fact that I'd left my towel hanging up there. So now there is a small yellow and white hand towel somewhere in Hokkaido on the side of the road, no doubt. So the bike's packed. It all looks okay. All of the bags have got these straps on them. I'm just checking that I haven't left anything on the ground because I'm so good at losing stuff that I've got into the habit of always checking before I leave. Sometimes I spot a water bottle that I've forgotten to pack, or the pegs. Heaven forbid if I lose the pegs because I need them for the tent. Nothing there. Nothing lying around. All good. Helmet on, high vis vest on, let's go. So now I've been in this hostel for, well, this is my 4th day now. The first day when I was here, I just needed to rest. I was just exhausted and I spent the whole day just reading a book, basically. The second day, I was still resting, but I was up to planning what I'm going to do next. And pretty well decided that instead of cycling to Nikko, because there's a typhoon and Nikko is copping a lot of rain, instead of doing that, I'm going to cycle to the west coast because the west coast gets a lot less rain when there's a typhoon. The typhoons come from the east, they hit the mountains, they drop all their water. By the time they get to the west coast, there's not much water left. So, second day, I planned that. Yesterday, I worked on my video number 5, and uploaded that. And today, I'm just fiddling around, really. It's the only way I can put it, except that I've been busy catching up with photos and doing administrative sort of stuff. And I've also bought a few bits and bobs, which I'll show in a minute. So I've got a coffee and I decided I need to learn to smile more in videos. So here's a smile. Here's my coffee. Cheers. There's a very stupid fly hanging around, so if I wave, it just means I'm chasing a fly away. Okay, before I left Australia, I was a bit concerned that I was going to get sunburn on my nose so dreadfully because it sticks out a fair bit and I didn't want it to get burnt and blistered. So I bought this nose shield, but then as soon as I bought it, I realised that this wasn't going to work because everywhere else still gets sunburnt. Chin, cheeks, everywhere except the nose. So forget that. So then I started using these face masks, the ones that we use from COVID. Put that on, and that has stopped me getting sunburnt quite well. Except that it's a bit tricky because then I have to put this on first and then the sunglasses. Otherwise, these things don't sit over the ears properly. And after I've got the sunglasses on, I have to put the helmet on. So it's all very, first the face mask, then the sunglasses, then the helmet. And it's just a bit of a drama. So, but it does stop me getting sunburnt, except that I'm still getting sunburnt around the neck and on the ears. And my ears are very precious to me too. So today, well, in the past, I've seen other cyclists wearing these masks that sort of start at the face and they drop all the way down to here and go around the back of the neck as well. And they do remind me rather of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something, ninjas anyway, because they're always in black. Haven't seen many cyclists wearing them here in Japan, mainly because I haven't seen many cyclists, but the road workers are all wearing these things. And I thought, I'm going to see if I can find one. So today I was in the shops and that's what I found. I had to ask 3 different people before I found somebody who knew what I was on about. And so there's this thing, and now I'm going to try it on. It's got loops for the ears, and I don't even know which way it goes, but It actually looks a bit like a slip, but anyway, put it on like this, I suppose. There we go, covers the nose, covers the neck, covers the back of the neck, hangs over the ears. Probably should be able to put my glasses, these aren't my sunglasses, but you know, they'll do. Put them on quite easily. And it says that it'll keep me cool as well. Evo Cool face mask, it's called. Evo Cool face mask. So we shall see if it keeps me cool or not. That's one of the many things that I've been doing today on my day off.